Welcome to the State of the AI Union. Today is January 6th, 2026. I am Dr. Kim, also known as the AI Doctor. And tonight, we are doing something really simple. We are going to replace chaos with clarity. And thank you to everyone who's saying congratulations. There's not a lot of slides in this presentation. In fact, there are almost no slides in this presentation until we get to there's a little assessment that you'll be taking a little later in this presentation. So again, replacing chaos with clarity, because AI right now, AI is very loud. Every headline is urgent. Every platform and every influencer, every knowledgeable person, they are screaming. Everybody's got a hot take. Everybody's got a subscription, myself included. I am part of the fray. And a whole lot of smart people are out here reacting instead of thinking. So tonight, we are going to think. So let's talk about what tonight is not. Tonight, we're not doing any cool demos, and we're also not doing any fear-based doomsday prep. This is about strategy. Tonight is about discernment over panic. It's about systems over hustle, and it's about outcomes over output. Very big difference. You can output a whole lot of stuff and not be effective at all. We're talking about outcomes. At the end, it is my hope that you'll have an opportunity to find out more about MindMeld, our AI-powered CEO operating system. And I see a bunch of our members in the Zoom room already. And this is our culmination of 3 years of working together. So we've basically perfected the system, finally. So let's take a quick pulse check. Give me a 1 in the chat if AI overwhelms you. Give me a 2 in the chat if AI makes you excited. And give me a 3 in the chat if you are both. I'm watching the 2s and the 3s. Yeah, I'm watching a lot of these come in. So I see some people are overwhelmed. And you know what? It's not difficult to be overwhelmed. But I see a lot of people are like really excited. And I'm seeing a lot of 3s here. I'm seeing a lot of people who are both. And you know what? You have absolutely every right to be all of it. If you're overwhelmed, there's no judgment here. This AI conversation is basically the AI conversation in general by design is engineered to make you feel like you're behind, but you're not behind. You're just basically overloaded. Every time you turn around, you're just basically overloaded. So here's what you're going to leave here with tonight. A simple mental model that makes this whole AI era make sense. A breakdown of what's already shifting in business, shifting in work, shifting in money, shifting in decisions. And I'm going to give you 7 of my 2026 predictions and also tell you what matters versus what to ignore. And I think all but one of my predictions for 2025 actually came true. So I have to go back and check that. But yeah, we're doing good over here. And we're also going to talk about a practical what to do next plan that you can execute in 90 days. I hate doing a presentation and not giving you any homework. So before we talk about where we're going with artificial intelligence, where we're going to be in 2026 and beyond, we got to get honest about how we got here, because this moment feels really intense, and it feels intense for a reason. So let's rewind, let's get in the time machine just a little bit, just to make the present make some sense. This is a repeat. Big shifts have happened before. So I want you to breathe. This is not the first big shift. We have been here before. We've been here a bunch of times before. Computers changed productivity. That's number 1. The internet changed distribution. And then the dot-com era. Remember that? The dot-com era taught us the difference between hype and fundamentals. And it also reminded us that 2 + 2 is not 14, no matter how much you tried to make it fit and become 14, it just doesn't happen. Remember the dot-coms? Remember the dot-com area? Companies were getting millions and sometimes billions of dollars because they had a logo, they had a domain name, and they had vibes. Does that sound familiar? And then the question came. It was very quiet, but it was deadly. question was, hey, we got all this going, but what's the business model? What's the business? And that's the same question that AI is forcing now. We've got a lot of impressive tools. Let's face it, there's a new impressive tool damn near every hour. Reese said, "Woof, that bust was insane." Yeah, the .com bust was absolutely insane. So yeah, we have lots and lots of tools. The tools are impressive, but the winners are going to be the ones that have business fundamentals. And just as we found out with computers, just as we found out with the .com bubble, just as we found out with the real estate bubble twice over, it always comes back to fundamentals. AI is nothing but a new chapter. It's the same book. It's just faster. So there's a 4-stage cycle, basically why your nervous system is tired. And this is the cycle that every tech shift goes through. And the first stage is shock. Shock. The second stage is hype. The third stage is the messy middle, and the fourth stage is normalization. So we're going to talk about each one of these. So shock. Wait, this is real? You mean I can do this? This is here? What is this? Remember when you first saw artificial intelligence and or at least generative AI like ChatGPT? Did it blow your mind? The shock of it. Yeah. So after shock comes hype. And hype is, this changes everything. You can quit your job. You can automate your life. You can use AI as your CEO right now. Sound familiar? Familiar, yeah. And then there's the messy middle. The messy middle is too many tools, too many damned opinions, mixed results, no standards, people selling you pipe dreams, people who have almost no business getting into the industry, and people who are just like, okay, this is a cash grab. Does that sound familiar? And then there's normalization. That's when the dust settles, best practices emerge, laws start to catch up, and winners build infrastructure. That's where normalization is. And I'm curious, give me in the chat, where do you think we are right now? Are we at shock? Are we at hype? Are we at the messy middle? Or are we at normalization? Where do you think we are? I'm seeing hype and messy middle. Shock, hype, and messy middle. Okay, I see a little bit of all of it. Well, I'm going to tell you, we are right at hype and messy middle. We're actually more messy middle than we are hype. But yeah, we're at hype and messy middle. And the messy middle is where everybody's experimenting. Everybody's experimenting. How many of those videos, and I know I fell victim to it too, but how many of those videos have you seen in the past week where someone is running, or it's an AI video, someone's running around with their camera phone and they're running from set to set, with famous people, and they're taking selfies with them, and then they run to another movie set and then they take more selfies. Yeah, everybody's experimenting. So it's like the next new thing comes up. Oh, we got to experiment with this. But I want you to think back, and especially for those of you who have been part of my community for like 3 years. Yeah, almost 3 years. Because what's going on now? You see a lot of people teaching digital twin and clone classes. We did our first clone class in 2023. And now everybody and their grandmother has taught digital clones, and now they're taking it to a whole different level. Another part of the messy middle is that nobody agrees, or very few people agree, or you can find divergent opinions on so much. So much. Also, part of the messy middle is that everything updates. Now, let's face it, technology updates, period. Technology is always going to update, but everything updates. How often do we get an update from ChatGPT? How often do we get an update from Google? It's hard to keep up. And your brain kind of says to you, doggone it, I just like 1 week apiece, please, just 1 week. Let my brain cool off, let me relax, let me not always be in fight or flight, let me not always have to be in learn mode or overwhelmed. So no, you're not crazy. We're just in the messy middle. And it's going to take a little while before we get to normalization. So I'm going to give you the organizing lens for the entire night. This is the line that makes the noise make sense. Automation handled tasks. Then generative AI came along and handled content. And agentic AI handles outcomes. And I want you to remember this. Again, automation handles tasks. Generative AI handles content. And agentic AI handles outcomes. Mind meld, folks, don't worry about taking notes. You're going to get the notes already. So automation handled tasks, and we had automation way before there was artificial intelligence, okay? If you came out of the Microsoft ecosystem, we had the Power Platform. If you came out of the Oracle system, I forgot what Oracle was, but this is way before a generative AI came on the scene. So we've had automation for forever. This means rules, though. It means triggers. It means if this, then that. And some of you guys know that there's actually a website called IFTT, which stands for if this, then that. So what does this mean? It means if a form gets submitted, you send an email. If the payment fails, trigger a reminder. How many of you guys get reminders in your email if you accidentally, your credit card expires or something like that? So we had these automations already. If someone books a call, then you move them to the next pipeline stage. But automation by itself wasn't smart. It was just obedient. So after automation, here comes generative AI, and this handled content. Oh boy, how many thousands or quadrillions of words did we write between ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Manus, all of this stuff? Generative AI handled content. We wrote posts. We drafted emails. We summarized meetings. We turned notes into outlines. Let me tell you, generative AI is powerful. It makes you faster. But content is not the finish line, and it doesn't always make you money. So because you can generate 300 pieces of content and still have no follow-up system, you can generate a whole sales page and still have no offer clarity. You can generate a course and still not deliver transformation. So content's great. We are now and have entered the era, and we're sliding in there. We've actually slid in there. We have slid into the era of agentic AI, and that handles outcomes. So what does outcomes mean? I'm looking over at the comments. I'm sorry. What does outcomes mean? It means that work gets completed, but across tools. You're not beholden to just one tool. You don't have to babysit every single step. So as an example, an outcome is not just write an email. An outcome becomes write the email, personalize the email, send the email, tag the CRM, schedule the follow-up, and alert you only if something fails. It's not just create the invoice, it's create the invoice, match it to the agreement, reconcile it, flag the discrepancies, and route all of your exceptions. And it's not just reply to your customer. It's reply to the customer, update the trouble ticket, log the pattern if it recognizes a pattern, and you can train AI to recognize the patterns, and then escalate to a human if it's sensitive. So in other words, we're moving from AI that just talks, it just does a whole lot of this, to AI that does. AI is now the doer. And that's why it feels louder. When AI moves from content to outcomes, the advantage shifts. The winners are not the people with the most tools. And we talk about shiny shit syndrome all the time, always chasing the shiny shit. Okay, squirrel. The winners are the people who can design the workflows, set the guardrails, and measure the results. So now that we've got the lens, let's talk about what's already shifting, because the shift is not coming, it's here. Okay, we're in it. And we need to get some strategies and some things to grasp it, get our hands around it, and know exactly what we're doing. So let's start with business. The hustle era. Remember the hustle era? Everybody was on a hustle. Everybody had to hustle. And the hustle era was powered by people that were basically doing everything manually. You know, if someone signed up for a class, you sent them the email manually, you made sure that they got into the class, and all of this, these were all manual processes. But AI rewards something a little bit different. AI rewards clarity. And you guys in MindMeld, you know, I've been hammering on clarity. I hammered on clarity for an entire year, all of 2025. And this is why you have to have clarity. AI rewards structure. AI rewards repeatability. So if your business is held together with memory, heroics, and late night panic, and I'll be honest, I have been there. I have been there. I've not, you know, I have evolved, as Michelle said. Thank you for recognizing the evolution. But AI is going to expose that. Because as you try to grow and you try to scale, you can't keep up manually. I want to show you exactly where the leverage lives. So let's talk about lead follow-up. If your follow-up system is, I'll try to remember to text people back, and don't get on me about this, guys. It's not that I forget to text people back. I just get so many texts sometimes, I don't see them. But if your follow-up system is, I try to remember to text people back, AI can't fix that. But what AI can do, and it can fix, is that your lead comes in, it gets tagged, they receive the nurture email, they receive the booking link, they receive a reminder, they receive a no-show follow-up, and they know that AI can run it like a machine. Let's talk about work. Job roles are splitting into two camps, and this is for business owners as well as people who are in corporate. The two camps are operators and coordinators. Coordinators move information around. Operators move work to completion. The premium is shifting to verification, to judgment, to oversight, to execution. So if you're a professional listening, stop positioning yourself as helpful and start positioning yourself as reliable. Reliable means that you can run systems. Reliable means that you can catch errors and you can protect outcomes. Money is shifting also. AI makes production cheaper, which means competition gets tighter and the field gets much noisier. So here are some lanes that grow in that area. Audits. What's broken? What's leaking? What's missing? Templates. What kind of templates do you have? Whether you're a business owner or whether you are in corporate. Workflows. Your step-by-step with handoffs. Licensing. What are your systems? What are your SOPs? What kind of training kits do you have? And then managed operations, which are basically done for you outcomes. So I'm curious, for those of you who are business owners in particular, what lane or what area do you need to work on your business in right now? Do you need audits? Do you need templates? Do you need workflows? Do you need licensing? Or do you think you need managed ops? And that is one to ponder. Okay, I see workflows and managed ops. It's like every other one is workflows and managed ops, workflows and managed ops. I see a little everything. Yeah. Now, for those of you who said workflows, do you have any workflows in your business right now at all? Drop that one in the chat. Okay, I see. Darlene, thank you so much for being brutally honest. Darlene said, yes, all manual SOPs. So, Darlene, I'm going to ask you a question. Do they have to be manual SOPs, or are you at a point where you are ready to automate your SOPs? And while Darlene answers that, I'm going to give you the last one, which is decisions. Oh, Darlene says that is the norm. You're ready to automate ASAP. That's, and here's the thing, as long as you have your SOPs written, you are 85% of the way there. Most people don't even have, and most especially small and medium business owners, don't even have their SOPs documented. So if you've got them documented, you are head and shoulders ahead of a lot of your peers. The final one is decisions. Reese says, I love SOPs. Actually, Reese is one of the best SOP writers I know. Even better than AI. Think about that for a minute. The last one, she said, thanks, Delta. Yes, she used to write SOPs for Delta. The last one, decisions. Leadership becomes the differentiator. And this is for all of our business owners. AI expands your options, but leaders still make the final choice. So AI can generate choices, but it cannot carry the responsibility for you. And unfortunately, so many business owners, so many entrepreneurs, so even people who are in corporate are leaving the responsibility up to AI. We cannot do that. And, there's some people who have found that out the hard way. What about the two attorneys who have been, disbarred because they used AI to completely prepare their cases, and then the judge finds out and the cases that they had cited didn't exist? We have the final responsibility. So governance, trust, and validation become very real for us business owners. Because if you don't set rules for AI usage in your business, if you don't take the responsibility, the tools will set the rules for you, and that might not be what you want. She said, oh, I needed to hear that. Decisions. Messed up a couple of times, frozen in my decision. Yeah, we have to make the decisions. So who's ready for some predictions? I want to be respectful of everyone's time, because that was the biggest thing. The predictions for 2026. So I have a certain structure that I'm going to do this in. I'm going to tell you what the prediction is. I'm going to tell you why it matters. I'm going to make some suggestions for what you can do, and then I will give you an example of that prediction. Does that work for everybody? If it works for you, put an okay in the chat for me so I know that you guys are still awake. Woohoo! Cool beans. So prediction number one, we were just talking about outcomes. Prediction number one is outcomes become the product. Content is not the product. The outcome is the product. The transformation becomes the product. Companies are going to stop buying tools. They buy results. They don't give a fig about the latest ChatGPT update. They want to know what the results are. They don't want AI. They want fewer support tickets. That's an outcome. They want faster onboarding. They want consistent follow-up with their customers. They want more booked calls. They want quicker proposal turnaround. They want cleaner operations. I don't care if you can write blog posts and social media posts all day long. What's the outcome? Eventually, it goes down to the bottom line. So why does this matter? This matter is because the market is exhausted. The market is exhausted. People are so tired of collecting applications. People are so tired of the latest new app that just came out. I saw something that came out the other day called Super Cool, and it says, it talks about it's the last app builder that you're ever going to need. And we talked about it in our Facebook group. Are we tired of collecting apps? Are we tired of paying $15 for this and $20 for that and just like $6 million? At the end of the month, you look at your credit card bills and you're like, I spent how much on apps? So yes, people are done collecting apps. So what should you do as a business owner? Pick one outcome that you want. This is for this quarter. Just pick one outcome. One outcome. Do you want fewer support tickets? Do you want faster onboarding? Do you want more consistent follow-up? Do you want more booked calls, quicker proposal turnaround, cleaner operations? What in your business, what is the one outcome that you want to see happen in your business in the first quarter of this year? Put that in the chat. I'm going to put mine in. All right, Lisa, I like that. Strong financials. Yes, that is ultimately important. Content. Content, you know. Angelique says more buyers. Okay. Question is how, and I want you to think about this, how do you get to that? How do you get to that outcome? Now, here's a rule. If a tool does not drive that outcome, it's a distraction. I'm going to say it again. If a tool does not drive that outcome, it is a distraction. And I dare say you need to get rid of it. So here's a little story. Here's a little example. We've got an image consultant who is really smart, talented. She's always busy. And she keeps buying tools over and over again. She got a new CRM. She got a new AI writer. She got a new scheduler. She got a new image maker. She got a new this, new that. But her sales are inconsistent. Why is that? Because people are buying tools like vitamins, basically like Pez. Wanda, yes, exactly. The money is just flying. And they're hoping the more tools you buy, people are thinking, okay, this is going to make my business better. It's going to make my business healthier. It's not. So flip the approach. What outcome do you want? And if you want more good calls without being online all day, that's what this particular person wanted. Okay, so instead of buying a new tool, build an outcome system. A lead comes in. AI qualifies the lead with 3 questions. It auto sends the right booking link, and the follow-up runs for 7 days, 7 automated emails. And if they don't book, then they go into a nurture track. So you're not buying another tool. We're talking about using the tools that you have better. Please stop buying them. And I'm sure your wallet is going to love you. So I'm gonna go back and see a lot of comments that came up. Okay, I love the outcomes. Content, cleaner operations, more clients, content, consistent marketing assets, more speaking engagements. Okay. Book training courses and coaching clients. Finally getting off the pot and building the biz I desired but have been too afraid to. Yeah, I'm going to have to beat you with a wet noodle, ma'am, because I know exactly. You're absolutely right. Better workflows to closing, consistent and more marketing. Automate the HCM implementation process and reduce from 6 to 12 months to 3 months. Hallelujah, Darlene. Pets, yes, Michelle, Pez. I know, I'm dating myself. I remember Pez. Streamlined and automated qualifying process. Thanks for laying out a process. I'm in the boat with Sheila. Vibe coding to create lead magnet. More clients, conversions. Okay. If you're clear on what the outcome is, build a map to get there. How do you get there? And focus on that for a quarter. All right, prediction 2. Operators. We talked about operators are going to replace busy work layers. There's going to be less coordination and more execution. Let me drink some water. The same way businesses are going to start to pay more for results, they're also going to start to pay for momentum, especially when money is tight. What does that mean? Or what should you do? Redesign one workflow so that progress is measurable. Everything, well, almost everything in your business needs to be measurable. It needs to be quantifiable. If you have an SOP and you automate it and you automate your onboarding sequence, If you were able to onboard 12 people per day in the old system, but after you onboard it, you're able to now onboard 25 people per day. That's the quantifiable difference. If your workflow needs 3 meetings to move one task, that's not a workflow. It's a group chat. So think about a small team, maybe 6 to 10 people, drowning in coordination. They've got status meetings, they've got update meetings, they've got follow-up meetings, they've got meetings about the meetings, and then another meeting to discuss the meeting after the meeting. But the work is still late. Yes, Karen said, oh, MindMail 2.0 is about to be fired. Yes, this is where we are going with MindMail 2.0. And the work is still late, so what do? All of this busy work going on. Get rid of the busy work layer with an AI operator setup. Every project has a single workflow. AI generates weekly task lists by role. Where's your RACI? I know there's a couple of project managers on here. AI sends reminders automatically. AI summarizes the blockers. It summarizes the meetings. Hallelujah. And humans only have to jump in when there's an exception. And I'm looking at the time. I'm going to speed up just a little bit on the predictions. Prediction number 3 is going to be consolidation. Oh boy, we just saw this happen. Platforms are going to swallow point tools. What does that mean, Kim? Tools get acquired, folded in, or replaced. Now, did we not just see this? Meta just bought Manus. You're going to see a lot more of this happening where very large companies are going to, even more than we've seen before, are going to be in, and they're going to start to hoover up and start snapping up smaller companies. And Manus is a pretty nice sized company. They sold it for $2 billion, I think. But you're going to see this because these larger companies, instead of having coders come in and add new functionality, they're going to take the Microsoft route. Yes, I said the Microsoft route. They're going to take the Microsoft route, and they're just basically going to buy what their deficiencies are. Now, Google has more money than some small countries. So they may continue to create their own. OpenAI, the VC loves OpenAI, so they may continue to do their own, but I still see OpenAI as an acquisition target. I just don't know who's going to buy them. Anyway, so that is what's going to be happening. Consolidation. The platforms are going to swallow up the point tools, and they are going to then assimilation is imminent. Resistance. Number 4. Yes, it is cheaper to buy than build. Reset or reminder emails. That's one of my challenges. Yeah, that's a lot of our challenges, but automate it. I don't have a problem with reminder emails anymore because now I have them all automated. So prediction number 4, and we talked about, there's a conference going on right now that I've been watching online, that usually the one that I go to. Voice AI becomes the default and humans become the premium. And this is going to decimate a couple of different places. The offshore market. And Sheila, you and I have had brief conversations about this, and we have a mutual person that we got this from also. But yeah, this may decimate that offshore market. So basically, routine gets handled by AI. Answering the telephone, tech support, things like that. Humans handle escalation, retention, and trust. So, all of those call centers that got outsourced to India, and they got outsourced to the Philippines, and they got outsourced to Jamaica, and they got outsourced to a lot of different places. Voice AI is so doggone good that it can now replace an entire industry and save the escalation for humans. That's going to be some scary stuff. Wanda says, I just experienced this with a large payroll vendor. Yeah. So AI can answer the front door. You know, somebody rings the doorbell, AI can answer the front door. It can show people where everything in the refrigerator is. However, humans handle the living room. So please be on the watch out for that. Prediction number 5, your content. Oh, that's a good question, Karen. Prediction number 5, your content becomes cheap. Did you hear me? Content becomes cheap. Distribution is king. So creation stops being rare because now everybody can do it. Everybody can create videos. Everybody can create movies. Everybody can create their own music. Everybody can create their own. Think about it. And for the most part, when it comes to content, you can create your own. Now, I will say that nothing ever takes the place of a really, really good copywriter. And we have a really, really good copywriter. We're getting much better. But yeah, creation is no longer rare. Ownership, however, is. And what do we mean by ownership? We're talking about ownership of channels. So while you can create all the content in the world, as you're marketing, as you're putting yourself out there, you need, and you guys in Mind Melt have heard me say this, you need to pick 1 or 2 channels. Don't try to go on LinkedIn and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and X and what's the other one? Instagram and this and that. Pick 1 or 2 channels that you are going to own and do your damnedest best to create superior content for that channel. Own your channel. Be the go-to person in that channel. Now, your channel can be your email list, and I strongly suggest that if you're going to pick, 2 or more, your email list needs to be one of them because that's the only thing that you actually own. You don't own anything on TikTok. You don't own anything on Facebook, et cetera, ad nauseum. So make sure that's the one place you start. What about your community? We have a Facebook community. We also have an offline community where we're able to speak freely and not worry about Facebook. What about partnerships? We're talking about stuff that you can truly own. What you also want to do is commit to a weekly rhythm. And you guys have seen me do this, and you've also seen me fall off of it. So, none of us is perfect, but I've automated it. So you're going to be seeing it in action a whole lot better. 1 value in piece, 1 invitation, 1 follow-up. That's a really simple weekly rhythm. One of the things that I see in most of my students and most of my clients is that you try to make it too complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. Your weekly rhythm should not be complicated. Start easy, because if it's complicated at the beginning, you're not going to want to do it. It's not sustainable. Boring is profitable. Consistency is sexy. Prediction number 6, and I've got one more after that, and then we'll go to some questions. We all know, and you guys, well, some of you know, we all know all of these data centers are popping up all over the planet, not just here in the United States, although we are the number 1 in the world for data centers. Suggestion, and I am not a stockbroker, I am not a financial advisor, I do not claim to be one, but I'm going to give you a suggestion. Look into the companies that build data centers, and if you have, and consider investing in them, but not just the companies that build the data centers. Data centers require a whole litany of other services and products in order to build them. Look at the ecosystem around data centers. Look at concrete producers. Look at HVAC, especially HVAC, because those suckers, those servers in there have to be cooled. Look at companies that lay Cat 5 and Cat 6, basically the wires, the lines. It's terrible because I used to actually do that. I can't remember the right word. Look at the ecosystem around data centers and take a look at the possibility for some investment. So I'm gonna leave it right there. But electricity and infrastructure are going to become a competitive strategy. Exactly, Tanya. Tanya, I'm sorry. Water cooling system, filters. Yeah, it's all over my backyard too. I live between two huge data centers here in Georgia. Well, I used to. I moved. And now the picks and shovels, exactly, Allison. And now one of the counties here in Georgia has put a moratorium on the building of data centers in DeKalb County, Georgia, because they want to study it further, which is an intelligent thing to do. So, compute costs your power access, your data center expansion. This starts affecting pricing, availability, and business decisions. So this is something else that you need to take a look at. If you cannot answer, what does this save or earn? You're not building a system, you're playing. And that's not only with electricity, but that's with the entire ecosystem. Carrie, can I talk about which impact? Can you put that in the chat? And tell them to study Virginia. Actually, Virginia and Georgia are the two largest states. Virginia is actually ahead of Georgia. Virginia is number one. Georgia is two when it comes to building data centers. Ask me how I know. I have written a book about it, and several of you helped me choose the cover of it today. It's called AI's Big Dirty Secret. Oh, the data center being in my backyard? Okay, yeah, I will talk about that. I was living in Peachtree City, which is, one of those bedroom communities. It's actually the first planned community in the United States. One of those places we drive around in golf carts. We don't really need to have a car. You really don't need to leave Peachtree City because everything that you could possibly need is right there encapsulated. We have over 110 miles of golf carts. And as small as Peachtree City is, we have 5 country clubs with major golf courses. So that tells you what type of a community it is. It is not cheap to live in Peachtree City. The city over from us, the next major city down going south, is called Noonan. And then the city north of us is Fayetteville. There is a massive Google data center in Noonan. And people, actually, Darlene, underwater data centers is something that I talk about in my book. Interesting. But the data center in Noonan is responsible for people not being able to get water, or if they could get water, their water is brown all the time. The water pressure is low. The one in Fayetteville, which is just north of me, Fayetteville is under construction. And it has been under construction. It's been under construction for almost a year. It is 1.7 million square feet. And of that 1.7 million square feet of space, only 0.2 of it is office space. The rest of it, this is 1.5 million, basically, 1.5 million square feet of servers. So if you're in technology, and I know Harry B, I think I saw you on here, think about this, 1.5 million square feet of nothing but servers and wire. It takes water to cool these servers. So everywhere that we're seeing these data centers go up, we're experiencing water problems. The water table goes down. Electricity costs have gone up ridiculously because the politicians have made deals with the companies that build these data centers. And I know I'm going off on a tangent, but you do need to know this. Politicians have given all these tax abatements and all these other benefits to these companies that are building these data centers, and they're passing it on to the residents. So this is happening in bedroom communities. This is happening in rural areas. Exactly. It's happening in Denton. It's happening all over the United States. So Adrian wants to know, could I smell it? Yeah, actually, the one in Noonan, you can smell it. And I have friends that live in Noonan. So you can smell the way the water smells. It's different. It is very, very different. The center that's being built now, sometimes, you hear an explosion and it's like a muffled explosion. But you're like, oh, what the hell was that? They're blasting. This is Georgia. We've got granite. Angelique wants to know, do they create jobs or is it minimal employment? When they're being built, they create a lot of jobs. After a data center is built, however, and I talk about this in the book as well, after the Bay Data Center is built, however, it's minimal because you don't need a whole lot of people to run a data center. You need a few tech, you need a few electricians. Yeah. So that's the impact. That has been the impact. Yeah. Some jobs while being built, no after. Exactly. So that 0.2 of, the square foot, that's what I said it. That's the office space. Somebody's got to be there to watch over it, make sure everything is running well, et cetera, et cetera. It's a skeleton crew after they're built. Okay, I'm going to go to prediction number 7. That's the last one. And then we're going to open up for questions. There were a few questions that were sent in ahead of time, so I'm going to answer those first. And then we are going to take questions from you guys. All right. Prediction number 7. AI middle office disrupts outsourcing back office. What does that mean? AI plus oversight is going to replace some of the financial, oh goodness. Taylor said, including a new Trader Joe's. Hey, Steph, AI oversight is going to basically replace some parts of AP, accounts payable, and AR, accounts receivable. It's going to replace onboarding. It's going to replace compliance checks. It's going to replace scheduling. It's going to replace support triage. So what you want to do is if you have back office functions that have any of this, then you want to redesign it around exception handling. Humans handle the exceptions. Let the AI handle the rote stuff, the stuff that's repetitive. So let me give you an example. A business was onboarding clients manually. So the welcome email was done by hand. The contracts were sent manually. The intake forms were tracked manually. The folders were created manually on the server. The tasks were assigned manually. Kind of messy. So to answer this, build an AI middle office approach. Have AI send the welcome packet. Have AI do the collected intake. Have AI create the folder for the client. Have AI assign the task. Have AI schedule the kickoff and flag the missing items. Where do we need humans to get involved? When there's a weird request, something completely outlandish that's completely outside of your business. When there's incomplete paperwork, for example, if someone's coming through HR and they're being onboarded and they forgot to sign their contract or they forgot to fill in their W-4, the W-4, W-9, whatever the form is. If there's special billing, you're on a contract with the client, but you've done some extra work and you need to submit an extra invoice. That's when a human needs to get involved. And anything sensitive. So if you're dealing with HIPAA, if you are dealing with PCI, if you're dealing with anything along those lines, then that really needs to be handled by a human. So what's your 90-day plan? 3 words. And I'm going to put this in the chat. It is stabilize, systematize, and deploy. Of course, you've got to have clarity in order to do this. Stabilize, systematize, and deploy. To stabilize, number 1, clarify your offer. Clarify your customer journey. What's your workflow? And mind meld, folks, this is what we're talking about tomorrow night. Systematize your SOPs, your templates, your rules, your exceptions. Then deploy AI plus automation, plus oversight, plus measurement. Michelle, that I put it in the chat. So stabilize is where you clarify your offer. You've got your customer journey. You've got your top workflow. Systematize. Systematize. Wanda said, I forgot I was part of Mind Meld. I missed a lot last year. That's okay. It's a completely different program now. Systematize is SOPs, templates, rules, and exceptions. Deploy is AI plus automation plus oversight plus measurement. AI is not here to replace your thinking. It's here to multiply your structure. If you have a bad structure, AI will multiply the bad structure. So again, let's go back to apps. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, I'm putting this in the chat right now. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, what does it do? What system does it plug into? What is success in 14 days? And what is the failure mode and who catches it? The 3 don'ts: don't automate confusion or lack of clarity. Don't buy tools without a rationale or a workflow. And don't confuse content output with business outcomes. Again, you can put out all the content you want, but if you ain't selling nothing and no money's coming in, it's all for nothing. Karen says, I'm changing my outcome goal. I need to organize these 3 Google Drives because there's a ton of money in there. Yes, there is. There absolutely is. All right, so let me find. Actually, you know what? I have a little. There we go. I have a little diagnostic for you, and you don't have to fill this out online. In fact, okay, thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Let me share my screen. And this is going to go back to something that we talked about a little bit earlier this evening. I want you to take this little AI readiness diagnostic. It'll take maybe 5 minutes. In the next 8 minutes, you're going to answer 5 critical questions and score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 points. The goal is simple. Locate exactly where you are right now so the predictions that we discuss actually land different for you. You're not here to collect more tools. You're here to build systems that work and systems that scale, systems that free you up instead of weighing you down. So let's find out where you stand. Of course, it's decided to get stuck. Don't you love it when a plan doesn't come together? That's okay. I'm going to do this old school. We're just going to look at the raw files. All right, you should be able to see my screen right now. So how does this work? This works. I'm going to answer 5 questions. Each one of these questions, you're going to answer either 0, 1, or 2. 0 means not yet, not at all. Number 1 means kinda, it's kind of in progress. And number 2 means, yeah, I got that. Got that solid. So the first question is clarity. Do you have one clear outcome you want AI to drive in the next 90 days? Not 5 outcomes, not explore AI. It's got to be uber specific. That's what clarity is. So here's some examples. Faster lead follow-up, respond within 5 minutes instead of 2 hours. That is not only it's quantifiable and qualifiable. Shorter onboarding, reduce new client setup from 5 days to 2. Fewer support tickets, automate 40% of common questions or more book calls, increase demo scheduling by 25%. Are you a 0, a 1, or a 2 in clarity? Yep, you can put them in the chat, but you also definitely need to record them for yourself because you need to score yourself at the end. Number 2, workflow. Do you have at least one workflow written down step by step, like literally documented? Hello. Not the workflow that lives in your head. Not a Google Doc that's just got 3 bullet points. We're talking about steps, clear handoffs. 0, 1, or 2. No, it doesn't have to be related to number one. It's just a workflow period. Number three, are your core cool tools connected or are you working out of like 14 tabs like it's a personality trait? That's a lot of folks. This is where most people lose hours every week. Are your forms, your email, your CRM, your calendar, and your payment systems, do they actually talk to each other? Or are you doing this manually by copy pasting data between platforms like it's 2015? Are you a 0, a 1, or a 2 with that one? Question number 4, guardrails. Do you have basic rules for AI usage? Without guardrails, AI becomes a liability instead of an asset. And here are some examples. Data boundaries. What data is allowed versus not allowed? Customer info, financials, proprietary methods. Access control. Who can use it and for what? Role-based permissions and approval processes. Quality verification. How you verify outputs, review processes, human oversight, accuracy checks. And I'll be honest with you, most small and medium businesses fall like 0 to zero point 0.5 on this one. But it's something that we have to start looking at and we have to start thinking about as our businesses get more mature and they get more sophisticated. Guess what? AI and the bad actors in AI will also get more sophisticated. So looking forward, start to consider your guardrails for your business. And I'll be honest with you, right now, corporate America is like at a 1. Very few organizations are at a 2. And then the last question, measurement. Do you track whether AI is producing results? Hello. Do you track whether AI is producing results for your business? Is it saving you time? Is it making your response time faster? Is it giving you more conversions? Is it giving you fewer errors? Are you reduction in mistakes? So once you have all 5 of these questions, so you be really quick, tally up all of your answers. Maximum score is 10 points. So if you scored a 0 to 3, basically you're AI curious, you're exploring. What you should be focusing on this quarter is pick one outcome, make it specific and measurable, document one workflow, write it down step by step, and stop buying those damn tools. Work with what you've got already. Hello? Work with what you've got already. 4 through 7, you are AI functional. You are getting some value. What you should focus on this quarter is to connect tools, integrate your core systems. Your systems should be talking to each other. All right, I'm saying some 6s and some 5s all right now. Wanda. Tiffany, I know good and hell well you do not have 0 out of 0. Don't even try that. Not even. So for those of you who are 4 through 7, what you need to focus on this quarter is connecting your tools, integrate your core systems. They should be talking to each other. Add guardrails, establish clear usage rules, and measure your results. I repeat, measure your results weekly, track real performance data. And for those of you who are 8 to 10, you are AI scalable. You're ready for leverage. Now you can build agentic workflows. Let AI make more decisions for you because you have the data. Data. Exceptions, humans. Automate your routine, escalate edge cases, and then optimize your ROI plus cost. You need to fine tune for maximum efficiency. So that gives you an idea of what you should be working on in the very near future. So let me see. I know Karen says, stop telling that story. You have a workflow done. Yes, Tiffany, I know that you do. Yeah, okay, Tiffany, you and I need to talk this week. I know it's almost Wednesday. Reese, well, you finally attacked me. I haven't created measurements, but I do know they've helped tremendously. Okay, you're 6.5. Michelle, I see you. Conjunction, junction, what the fuck? You know what? The tree with the little smoke coming out of it just popped into my head from conjunction, junction. I'm seeing sixes, fives, two or three. Yes. Okay. All right. So the first question, I am going to get to our questions. And if you have a question, pop it in the chat so that I can attempt to answer it. I don't know everything, but I know an awful lot. Let's see. Oh, here's a question. Basically, how do I clear up multiple email addresses and declutter daily, plus a perfect digital planner for my situation? I like that. Multiple email addresses. How many of you guys have multiple email addresses? Okay, Garrett, I gotcha. Let's see. AI can become your email triage assistant. There's a couple of tools basically that will go through and you have to set it up, but there's a few tools that will go through and clearing up your email inboxes with like a Hoover. It's amazing. If you tell them that you don't want to see any emails from this particular email address, it'll go through, it'll send all those out and it will just get rid of them for you. If you want to put them into different types of folders, then it will do that for you. So AI is a perfect solution for what you're trying to do. Basically, what you really need to do, and I know it's difficult because I have multiple email addresses and I probably get about 1,500 emails a day across all of them. But what we really need to do is just, and we're doing it, come down to one daily command center. One daily command center, one inbox, one command center. You set clear rules for what gets applied to, what gets delegated, what gets archived, what gets scheduled. And this will also help you create a planner system that reflects your actual life. I'm looking at some questions. Let's see. Karen says, I have six. Dr. Virgie, I have six. Yeah, and it's hard not to have multiples, but it's not a best practice. Let's see. Creative briefs, project scheduling, photo editing, fixing, meeting summaries, image cataloging, huge cloud design files. Well, Angelique, give me just a moment. And yes, someone just came out with a command board. I can't recommend it yet because I haven't kicked the tires on it. But this is the question. Creative briefs, project scheduling, photo editing, fixing, meeting summaries, image cataloging, huge cloud design files. Okay. So AI can help run the project ops layer. So they can write the briefs, create the timeline, summarize the meetings, name tag assets, help you find files fast for the photo editing. It can also help with culling basic corrections and repetitive edits, but you stay in control of the final aesthetic. So here's the strategy. You do a brief, go to the timeline, and then a task list. The meeting, then the meeting summary, then the action items, and then files, consistent naming. So you can hire Reese to help with consistent name with your naming convention, and a searchable catalog. So the next thing that you need to do in the next 48 hours is create a single standardized workflow template. Create your brief intake form. What's the client goal? What's the style reference? What's the deliverable? What's the deadline? The AI will then turn that intake form into the creative brief. It will also create the shot list for you and also the project plan with some milestones. Then the next step of the workflow, you can do meeting summaries that are auto-generated. What decisions were made, what action items, and the meeting summaries, the tools that we have are incredible. I use, what do I use? I use Fathom and I use Read.ai, which does all of this for me and sends the meeting notes to the people who were in the meeting, thank goodness. And then you also have asset workflow. Make sure you have a consistent naming convention, put that into the workflow, into the AI. Make sure you have the right tags. The client name would be a tag. The shoot date would be a tag. The location would be a tag. The subject would be a tag. And then we have a best of folder, which gets created automatically. And that's pretty much your workflow. Here's one of my favorite ones. And it was just one word. Question was, what can AI help you do in your business or help streamline in your business? And the one word answer that was given was taxes. So yes, if you set them up correctly, especially inside of your financial apps, AI can help you organize and categorize and prep. It should never be the final authority. You need to eyeball every seat. You can let AI do the heavy lifting, but you as the human have to do the eyeballing and the final decision making. You have to take the responsibility. But you can use AI like a tax prep assistant. It is not a CPA. It is a tax prep assistant. So AI can help you track your income streams, capture all of your expenses, and make sure that you've got them properly tagged and categorized properly. It can capture your receipts tied to specific transactions because we know the IRS loves its receipts and transactions. And it can also generate monthly reports so that you're not panicking in April. If you do this, when you do your month end close, you will spend a fraction of the time that you normally would on your taxes. So, what you should be doing right now is starting a tax ready workflow. You're going to start one folder that's called Receipts 2026, and you can have subfolders by month, and one spreadsheet or bookkeeping tool export monthly. I don't know what bookkeeping tool you're using, but you have AI generate these monthly summaries, your income total, your expenses by category, your missing receipt list, and questions for your tax pro. And then create a text questions running doc so that you don't forget. And, if you have something like a Plod or one of those voice recorders, you can also, keep your voice recording. So yeah, this will help with bookkeeping. It'll help with your month end close. It'll help with your quarterly estimates. It will help you with your quarterly taxes. And year end, you will not be scrambling and tearing your hair out at the end of the year. And the last one, no, it's two more. Okay, cold calling, B2B. I got one word for it. It's just it's one phrase for you. AI voice calling. It is phenomenal now. Half the time you cannot tell that you're talking to an AI. So AI helps before and after the call. AI can do the research. It can do the list building. It can do the scripting for you, the objection handling, the follow-up sequences, and the CRM updates, and even role play practice calls with you if you decide that you're still going to do them yourself. I hate cold calling. I don't do cold calling if I can help it. So what's the strategy? Cold calling fails because people call around prospects. They say vague things. They don't follow up consistently. So AI can do that for you. AI can also give you better targeting, target your audience, tighter messaging, automatic follow-up systems, and the consistency. And that's, remember, consistency is profitable. Oh yeah, Reese, definitely. You spend a lot of time cold calling for the cleaning business. So what would you want to do in the next 48 hours? Build your cold call microsystem. You're going to create 20 target accounts that you want to get, and you're going to create some target talking points. A 20-second opener and 3 discovery questions. AI will generate the objection responses for send info, no budget, or no, not interested. In fact, I think in MindMelt several months ago, we created a sales script, and not only did we create the sales script, but it also created the objections, the rebuttals to about 5 different rejections and a couple that we didn't even think about. And after the call, the AI can draft the follow-up email and schedule the next touch. If you decide that you don't want to do the cold calling yourself, then you can program your AI to do all of this. So not only will it do the research, the list building, build the script, create the objection handling, the follow-up sequences, it will make the call for you. And if you don't know how to do that, follow at me after today. And then the final one is client onboarding. And this really applies to almost everybody on here. If you are a business owner or you have people coming in, Client onboarding is one of the most tedious things that we deal with on a regular basis. But if you automate it, it's set it and forget it. Getting it automated sometimes is a little bit tedious. It takes a little while. It takes some thought. It takes some energy, but you do it once and that's it. You can use that sequence over and over. So AI can automate your onboarding from the time that someone sees you all the way through to the time that they sign a contract. They get a welcome email. They get the intake. They get a welcome package in the mail, the scheduling, the folder setup, deliverables, timelines. You can automate all of this with artificial intelligence. This is also where a lot of trust is built, because when it seems like it runs like clockwork, people don't think about it. Plus, it's faster, it's more consistent, and it's less error prone. And it also reduces refunds and chargebacks. Why does it reduce refunds and chargebacks? Because when you do this stuff manually, you're not tracking the IP address that this person contacted you from. The basic, what we call, the metadata that goes into a contact. So for example, in my CRM system, I can go into on my account, I can go into anyone's name. I can see every email I have ever sent them. I can see what time it was. I can see every order they've ever made. I can see the IP address of the computer that they made the order from. When a company like Stripe or whomever you use, when they come back and they've got chargebacks and people are claiming, well, I didn't do this or I didn't have this, I can see all the way down into how many times has this person logged into the learning portal? What days did they log in? So when somebody comes back and they say, I did not access the learning portal, I did not receive X, I did not receive Y, and the credit card company wants proof, you have digital proof. That's one of the biggest reasons why you want to have AI automating your onboarding and several of your other systems. The audit trail is airtight. And I have had 3 situations this year in which I had to defend against chargebacks, and I won all 3 of them. Or last year, I should say. Because I have this kind of data. And my mind meld folks, you have heard me say that to be fair. So what do you want to do in the next 48 hours? Create a welcome email and a start here video. A couple of you guys got those in the past week and a half. Create your intake form, your contract, your invoice. You want to auto create your client folders, your project board, auto schedule your kickoff calls. And you can have AI produce a summary of your intake that you can review. Yes, Allison, it does all of that. All of those emails, everything that you receive from me, and all the way down to the new MindMeld 2.0 portal, it's all in Rainmaker. Because I don't have the time to learn something else, and I really don't have the time to teach my VA something else. So questions, comments, let me say, Karen says, and it's CFO approved. Thank you. Oh, man. Let's see. Reese just dropped a gem in the chat over here on Zoom. I'm going to copy it and put it into Facebook. Reese, like I said, is an SOP person, used to write SOPs and governance and things like that for Delta Airlines, but she's also really good with naming conventions as well. So she shared one of her best tips, and it is in the comments in Zoom, and I am putting it in the comments over here on Facebook. All right. So questions, you can either unmute yourselves or you can type them in the chat. And I'm going to ask my customary question. Did you learn something or take away at least one nugget from today between the predictions and the other narrative that we went through earlier, especially with the California AI laws going on. So if you got at least one nugget today, give me a yes in the chat. That is the weirdest thing. So what's the first thing that you are going to go and do tomorrow? I don't expect you guys to do a whole lot tonight, but what's the first thing that you're going to do in your business tomorrow? Clarity. Clarity. That's number one. Yes, Yvonne says, review my systems and make sure they are clear. Gigi says, audit my life for clarity. You know, that's not a bad idea. Might have to think about that one. Michelle says, one product and workflow. That's it. One product. I love that. Maurice, I've been prepping for 2026, but I haven't really mapped out the smaller goals in writing. That will give me better clarity. Yes. Don't need to call Dr. Kimberly. Come on with it. Angelique says, clarity, set up my schedule for my product. Book time with Dr. Kim. I have a question for you. Can I, for those of you who, well, first of all, if there aren't any questions, for those of you who are not members of MindMeld, I have to move stuff around because I have way too much stuff going on. For those of you who are not members of MindMeld, a couple of people in here said that you should be. I absolutely think you should be. Yes, Madam Bledsoe, you have raised your hand. Good evening.
How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm going to take a moment, hopefully, I didn't see any questions, so I'm going to take this moment to be transparent
Okay.
about where I am with my business. So to be quite honest with you, over the month of December, maybe 2 to 3 weeks in there, I literally shut down. All of the things that you mentioned, the overwhelmingness, the tools, the come to this workshop, do this. It was absolutely it was just overwhelming. And we have similar backgrounds, as you know. I mean, I knew what you were talking about when you said each and every cat 5. And I grew up implementing, all the things. I grew up telling businesses, large corporations, how to implement systems in their business so that they could get better with getting their self together. So it's just interesting to me. And this is definitely, I have to be realistic that this is my part-time job. I would love for it to be a full-time, but it is part-time. I have a full-time government job.
Okay.
And I am getting clients, not consistent, not all the time. But when I least expected, somebody wants to meet me and buy something from me, even in my chaos. With that said, I think getting clarity, I think someone said do get one process, one thing at a time. And I do use Rainmaker, even though I don't use it to its fullest. Anytime I think of something, I say, oh no, what can Rainmaker do? So for instance, I have a social media person just part-time that she helps with my posts, and I approve everything through Rainmaker. I have one onboarding that I need to do. And you started talking about onboarding, and I was just going to send a regular contract. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I could go into Rainmaker and do that. So I think my question was more around, I guess, I don't know, advice. Because like I said, I was just going to shut it down because I said, this is not my time. But I love teaching people how to utilize AI. And they receive it from me because I have that as one of my superpowers. So,
well,
I'm not
first,
awesome.
don't shut it down, because this is your time. It really is your time. The need for people who want to train others in AI is really at a peak right now. And doing something that you enjoy and being able to make money at it is going to reduce the stress in your life. But the systems and the things that we talked about tonight just get a piece of paper. And I tell everybody this, I'm old school. I'll get a piece of paper and I will diagram it out first. And then I'll take it into Rainmaker and then either build it out or have Jan build it out. But the thing is, don't stop. Don't give it up. You've got to learn how to put blinders on or batch what you're doing. So right now, when it comes to all these new tools that come out,
Um,
yeah, I have blinders on. I have 1 day a week. Actually, it's 2 days now. I have 2 days a week, and I give myself a set amount of time, and I scour the internet, my emails, etc., for all the new tools that came out that week. Because believe me, if you're a couple of days late, you will be okay. But then I also take, when I find the tools and I get the little trial and I play with them for a little while, but I go back to that framework. What does this tool do? Is it going to make me money? Can I realize an ROI from it within 14 days? And do I already have something that does what this tool does? And, if the answers are not 100% right for that, I don't purchase the tool anymore. I think I told you guys
I've
in
put a
Mind
moratorium on
Meld.
purchasing tools.
No, no,
I have so many that are not fully utilized.
get rid of them.
Yes. If I
Seriously,
pay for
what are
them,
they?
that's the one thing I did do was stop paying for things I was not using. So that is, and I don't think I gave myself enough credit because I did do an event and I used Rainmaker, the workflow for people to sign up to be vendors and to get automatic email. The only thing I didn't do was the payment because it was in a different system, not connected to Rainmaker, but I had a way to do that with tagging. And so, yeah, I, I, when I think of it, I do get it done, but it was a little, after that event, I like signed off.
Well, don't stop. You are much needed in this industry. You are much needed in this arena. What we can do is we can talk about ways to simplify your process and simplify your workflows. And then again, it's set it and forget it.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be as complicated as the bro marketers want you to think it is. It really is not.
That was my question. I'll be there tomorrow.
All right. I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's see. I see a few questions. Let's see. Clarity meets to attend Mind Meld. Yes, Mind Meld meets tomorrow at 7. We have our first meeting of the year. And I'm not going to do a whole sales pitch. Believe me, I promise. It is not going to be a sales pitch. But I am going to drop link to Mind Meld in the chat. If this broadcast has assisted you, this is the type of information that we do deep dives into with Mind Meld. In addition to that, Mind Meld also has access to all of the trainings that I've done, all the main trainings that I've done, not the premium ones that I've done for the past 2 years. So there's a ridiculous amount of information in Mind Meld, but we meet on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. We do masterminding. We do the hot seat. We do a lot of business building. We have our guest experts. We have Nakia Gray, who did a whole legal workshop for us. We have April Beverly. I love April, who did an entire content workshop as well as just told us her stories. So there's a ridiculous amount of information and resources within Mind Meld, but the biggest part is the community and the camaraderie. We truly do help each other along in business. And with the new program, we have Mind Meld 2.0. We actually merged 2 programs. The amount of stuff that you're going to be learning and executing, because we're more about execution than learning. We don't do the cute prompts. That maybe we do sometimes. But it's more about executing what we talked about tonight inside of your business. So I am going to drop the link to MindMeld 2.0 in the chat. Take a look. If you are so inclined to join us, please do. Now, if you ever were a member of MindMeld previously, or if you were ever a member of the hub, do not use that link because we have something completely different for you. Completely different for you. I hope that link works. Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, let's see. I need to switch over to MindMeld. It's on my list for the 4th week of January. Okay. Got your race. Angelique, yes, the Hub and MindMeld have been merged. It is now one program. You received your login credentials last week to get in. Let's see. Reese says, I let go of Midjourney once the other one started giving great AI picks. Yeah, I let go of Midjourney too, because now I am Nano Banana and I go together. Michelle says, that's my problem. I overthink everyone. Allison says, MindMeld is fire in a safe space. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Wanda, it's there. But I'll see if I can resend them. Have the logins reset because we have a whole brand new, shiny new portal and everything. Completely redone. Absolutely redone. All right. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? Actually, I have something from Tiffany. Yep, I'll put this up here, Tiffany. Tiffany creates some pretty incredible images herself. And this is a tool that she uses. And I put that over in, let's see, that was in Zoom. This is, there we go. So Nano Banana is better than Midjourney, wherever in my opinion, it is. And quite frankly, I vacillate between Nano Banana and Chat GPT images. And then, Sora and Veo. Because you can create, Veo 3.0, you can create images as well as, yeah, Tiffany's saying you can access all of those with that app. All righty. I want to thank you guys for being here and listening to me drone on. Again, I hope you got at least one nugget that you can take away. For my folks in MindMeld, I will see you tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, and come prepared to think. It's going to be a little uncomfortable because I'm going to get all in your business tomorrow. But that's what I'm here for, to help you elevate your businesses. So thank you. And this is the end of tonight's State of the AI Union address. I want to see next year if the predictions actually come true. I've got a few more. Like he just said, oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get all in your business tomorrow. That's okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. And I hope to see you either in our community on Facebook or in MindMeld in the near future. Ciao for now.